so good. Where's BJ? Where'd you go? How about BJ Tillman? Can we please give it up for her? So BJ, I don't know what she doesn't do because she does everything. You got to just know about her because she is an incredible leader. She, through this campaign up to November, was organizing folks, was registering folks, everyone from young students to the younger of the eldest of us. She has been organizing people and still continues to be such a leader. And when I look at someone like BJ, I know our future is bright. Let's give it up for BJ. All right, well, it is so good to be back in Georgia. It is so good to be back in Georgia. And I am here first and foremost to thank you all on behalf of Joe Biden and myself for doing what you did in November. Because you did what no one thought could be done. You did what no one thought could be done. And you made a statement not only about who is Georgia, what is the voice of Georgia, what are the priorities of Georgia, what Georgia will not allow to be denied about Georgia, but you also made a statement about who we are as a country. You allowed people around this nation to say, don't ever put us in a box. Tell us who we are. We will tell you who we are. That's what you did. That's what you did right here in Columbus. And so I am here, first and foremost, on behalf of Joe Biden and myself to say thank you. Thank you for what you did. And of course, no good thank you comes without asking for a little bit more. So, January 5th. January 5th. You know, 2020 has been a difficult year. 2020 has been rough. You know, people making jokes about 2020, like, we want this thing to be over. But you know what? As far as I'm concerned, Georgia, Columbus, 2020 ain't over until January 5th. That's when 2020 will be over. That's when we'll get this thing done. Because as you know, everything is at stake when it comes to the need to elect Reverend Raphael Warnock, to elect Jon Ossoff, to elect Daniel Blackman. Everything is at stake. Everything that was at stake in November is at stake leading up to January 5th. Look at what's happening right now in this state. We're looking across the country at so much devastation. People who have lost family members, lost time being able to go to work, lost time in terms of our children's education and the days of their education they have missed. There's been so much loss these years, and in particular this year. We're looking here in Georgia at the fact that 1 in 7 families is describing their household as being hungry. We're in the midst of a hunger crisis in America, and it's hitting Georgia hard. 1 in 7 describing hunger in their households. 1 in 6 Georgian families are describing an inability or difficulty to pay rent. 1 in 4 small businesses in Georgia have gone out of business or are about to go out of business. And what we are here to talk about, and why everyone, all the leaders are here right now together, because if you're here, you're a leader, is to say that we will have our voices heard. We will not let anyone silence us. We will speak up about what we need. We will tell you what we want, and we will make it happen through our vote. And just like you did, you will do it again. And here's the thing, you know, I was here, Joe Biden was here, we were all here together in Georgia before November. And remember how we knew what was at stake and the challenge ahead of us. We knew like Stacey Abrams been telling us and organizing against it, that there would be powerful people trying to prevent us from voting. We knew the kind of games they would play to make it difficult, to suppress our vote, to make it confusing, to discourage us. And in November, we talked about that, and we said, we know the challenge that is before us. Well, the same challenge exists today. And so we again ask, as it relates to January 5th, the question we asked in November: why are so many powerful people trying to make it so difficult for us to vote? We have to ask the question, why? And we know the answer. Because they know our power. They know when we vote, things change. They know when we vote, we win. So what we did in November, we can do again, because it comes from a very deep place inside of us. Understanding this is not about a dance. This is not about a gesture. This is about our lives. This is about the lives of our children. This is about the life of our community and the lifeblood of our nation. Now, you all know I was elected to the United States Senate 4 years ago. Actually, bittersweet night. It was the same night Donald Trump was elected. But I was elected to the United States Senate, becoming only the second black woman in the history of the United States Senate to be elected. Only the second. I am currently the only black woman in the United States Senate. And here's what I have also come to visit with you to share. The decisions that are made in that body, in the United States Senate, there are only 100 senators. They call the United States Senate the most deliberative body in the world. They elect people, we elect people for 6 years in the United States Senate because the job is so important and potentially so powerful, and it's so important in terms of representing the state as a whole, that we want to give people the amount of time that is necessary for them to establish themselves and a voice for their state in a way that they are not only leaders for their state, but national leaders. It is in the United States Senate where I went to the floor, they call it the well of the Senate. It's a grand building, our United States Capitol. It's beautiful. And the panels, wood paneling, been there forever. Pristine desks. You can see the names of the founders of our democracy written in those desks. And I sat on that floor when the Republicans were trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act that they named ObamaCare, that brought health care to tens of millions of people in our country. I watched as they dared to play politics with people's lives and their well-being. And I saw with my own eyes, I was relatively new to the Senate, I saw with my own eyes the power of each of these individuals who are United States senators. It's incredible. And as an example of that power, I saw what you probably saw by television. In the early morning, late at night, early morning hours on the United States Senate, I saw the power of just one senator when the late, great John McCain, on the issue of trying to get rid of ObamaCare because President Obama, together with Vice President Joe Biden, brought it, so they wanted to attack it, but it was about America's health care. I saw the power of one senator when John McCain took to that floor and said, "No, you don't." He said, "No, you don't." the power of just one individual. In Georgia, Columbus, you got the power to send two. It is within your hands, within our grasp, to send these two leaders to Washington, D.C., who will fight for your voice. They are born out of this election cycle when people tried to silence and suppress you. But they were triumphant. They were born out of this election cycle when people dared to try and have us count 3 times your vote. And they are here to tell the story. They are born out of a moment when people dared from other states like Texas to recall your vote and your voice. But they live to tell the story. They are strong. They have survived these games people are playing because they are the strong voices of the people of this state. So we've got it within our power, and you have it within your hands, to make a statement about who is Georgia and the power of the voice of Georgia, sending these two, Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock, to the United States Congress, to the United States Senate, to say, it is us, the people of Georgia, who will make a decision. It will not be made for us. We will make the decision about who represents us. So let's get this done. Let's get this done. And you know, I'm not here to tell you what's in your best interest, but I am here to say that the decision you make, the work you put into it, will impact people who you may never meet, people who may never know your names, but because of what you have done and are prepared to do, their lives will forever be better. When we look at this slogan, that's about health, it's about jobs, it's about justice. That represents some of the most important voices in America that must be heard, cannot be overlooked. Raphael and Jon will do that. They will do that. This will not be easy. And it is within our power to change the course of the history of this country. Changing the balance in the United States Senate, which is what this election will do, will make all the difference about everything that they have talked to you about on this very stage this afternoon. As it relates to Medicare and Medicaid and expansion here in Georgia, it would expand coverage for over 500,000 people, 500,000 people, depending on the outcome of this election. Joe Biden and I are saying, look, in places like Columbus, up and down Georgia, we've got Title I funded schools, which are the schools in the neighborhoods with some of the lowest tax base. And because our system is still kind of messed up, we fund school districts based on the tax base of a community, which of course means that in those communities that have the highest needs, they often have the fewest resources. We got to deal with that. One of the ways Joe and I intend to do that is to triple Title I funding. But we need Raphael and Jon in the United States Senate to see that through. We are talking about respecting the need of all Americans to have economic health and well-being in a way that they have the dignity of being able to raise their families knowing that their hard work pays off. So Joe and I are talking about what we need to do to make sure that folks who are first-time home buyers get a $15,000 tax credit to be able to put a down payment or closing costs to buy a home. But we need the support and the votes to do that. We're talking about how we've got to support our small businesses. You know, here in Georgia, our small businesses, our black-owned businesses, are part of the economic lifeblood of our community. And they're closing. Part of how we got to get dealing with this moving forward is we need to make sure that our small businesses, with an emphasis on our minority-owned businesses, have access to capital. So Joe and I have got a plan for that. We need the votes in the Senate. We need Raphael and Jon there. When we're talking about what we need to do as it relates to equal justice under law, those words are inscribed in that beautiful marble building called the United States Supreme Court. It's an ideal that we know we will always fight for and have not yet reached. And so we need to have folks who understand the importance of reforming our criminal justice system, reforming policing, doing what must be done to say, let us ban chokeholds and carotid holes. George Floyd would be alive today. Let us have a national standard for use of force. Let us require that as a nation we run our laws in a way that take into account the real history of America and do what is necessary to right what has been wrong. To do that, we will need the legislation to be passed. We will need Jon and Raphael in the United States Senate. These are the things that are at stake. And so I traveled here. I got to go back. I'm voting on that COVID package tonight in D.C., but I, of course, and I will be voting for it. But I wanted to come and visit with you before Christmas, to ask that among the things that you plan to do for Christmas, we all have our traditions. So many of us, our traditions have been changed because of the virus and what we need to do to be safe. But in the spirit of this season, in the spirit of the celebration of a birth that taught us that it is within the power of an individual to leave this world better than we found it. Let us use these days leading up to January 5th in the spirit of all that is good and right to make sure everyone we know understands their power, that they understand what is at stake. And my final point is this. 2020, you know, we got all kinds of words for it, most of which we should not say in front of children. And like I said, I think 2020 will truly be over on January 5th. And that being said, Columbus, this moment will pass. This moment will pass. This moment of loss, this moment of so many crises hitting so hard, it will pass. And years from now, our children, our grandchildren, and others will look in our eyes, each one of us. They'll look in our eyes and they will ask us, where were you at that moment in time? Where were you? And what I know we all will be able to tell them is so much more than just how we felt at this moment. We will tell them what we did. We will tell them we were hanging out at Bib Mel, that we were hanging out with Jon and Raphael. Kamala came and paid us a visit. We will tell them that we organized, that we reminded people to vote early, and we will tell them we elected the next senators to the United States Senate. That is what we will tell them. Thank you, Columbus.